public defender is an attorney employed by the community and responsible for giving legal aid without cost to any person who seeks it and is financially unable to employ private counsel. It is his duty to defend those accused of crime until the issue is decided in a court of law. The first public defender's office in the United States was opened in January 1913. Over the years, other offices were opened. And today, that handful has grown to a network of lawyers cooperating to protect the rights of our clients. Tonight, we bring you the story of a man who did everything in his power to convict himself of murder. If you had been in his place, would you have acted differently? In this courtroom, Superior Court, Los Angeles County, Department 89, Judge Collins presiding, Peter Stone, on trial for murder, watches the clerk hand the jury verdict to the judge.
The defendant will stand. Mr. Clerk, you will read the verdict.
The people of the state of California, plaintiff versus Peter Stone, defendant. We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the defendant guilty of murder. We further find it to be murder in the first degree with a recommendation for leniency.
I knew it. I told you. I knew it would happen just this way.
My name is Martha Fremont. I'm an attorney, Mr. Matthews. I was the attorney for...
Peter Stone, I remember. I saw you one day in court. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
I thought you handled yourself very well.
Sure, great. My first client, and he gets life.
From what I read, no one could have gotten him an acquittal. Why didn't you let him testify?
Let him? I couldn't get him into the witness chair. He was afraid. Afraid of what the DA would do to him. Afraid the jury wouldn't believe him. Mr. Matthews, he's afraid of everything. I just couldn't handle him. Maybe you can.
Me?
I came to ask you to appeal the verdict.
I'm sorry, we don't compete with private attorneys.
Oh, but he can't afford counsel.
Did he pay you?
$50, all he had. And I've spent a great deal more than that. To appeal, I need a transcript of the trial. I can't afford to pay for it, and neither can Stone.
Well, if he'd sign a statement that he had no funds, and if the...
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Thank you very much. Now I'm asking for a personal favor. Can I help?
I wish our budget could stand it.
Not for a fee. I've got a lot to learn. And if I could work with you, maybe I could help find something.
Well, on that basis, you're more than welcome. Are you ready for your first assignment?
Yes, sir.
All right, have Stone sign that statement.
Thank you.
The following day, the public defender was substituted as attorney of record for Peter Stone. I decided to start by visiting Stone's wife.
Hello, Mrs. Stone.
Oh, come in, Miss Fremont. Is there any news?
Good news. This is Mr. Matthews, the public defender.
How do you do?
He's taking over the case.
Mr. Matthews, you'll show them they made a mistake. You've got to.
Well, we'll try, Mrs. Stone. Now, I've read the full testimony, but I still don't have a real grasp of the case. I'd like to hear your side of the story, everything you can remember.
Remember. That's one night I'll never forget. Pete was on his way home from work.
We interrupt this program to bring you a news bulletin. Police have an eyewitness description of the killer wanted for the brutal stick-up murder of Arthur Crawford. The man wanted is thin, light complexioned, wears glasses, has a small mustache, is about 35 years old, and was last seen driving a gray 1950 Ford sedan.
Has anyone been here?
Who? Pete, what are you doing? Who are you hiding from?
The cops. Louise, I swear I didn't do it,
Do
but...
what? What are you talking about? Pete, it's our anniversary. Baked cake.
Louise, sit down, will you? Look, I just read in the paper about a guy being killed. I passed right by the place where it happened.
Yes, but
It's all in the radio.
what is?
All about a guy named Crawford. He ran out of gas, asked a guy for a lift to the nearest station. The guy got him in his car, and then he robbed him and killed him.
What's that got to do with you?
A girl saw him get the lift. She gave the cops a description of the guy. Now listen. Just listen to this. The wanted man is thin, wears glasses, has a small mustache. He's about 35 years old. That's me. They're gonna nail me.
Stop it, Pete. Stop being so afraid of everything. You can't go on living.
Wait a minute. Just let me finish reading. Crawford. That's the dead guy. And Crawford was killed by a .45 caliber Colt. From the description of the killer's car, police are searching for a gray 1950 Ford sedan. Louise, what'll I do?
Well, I still don't see why you're so...
Well, this description in the paper, that could be me, couldn't it?
And it could be 100, 1,000 other men.
But I own a 1950 Ford sedan. And the gun in this drawer is a .45 caliber Colt. Don't you see, Louise? The police are checking all owners of 1950 Ford sedans. When they get to me, they'll nail me.
No, they won't. They'll know you didn't do it.
Why? Because I say so? According to them, I'm a guy with a record. A conviction for armed robbery. That's the same as this is. Add up all those things
So
and...
you made a mistake 10 years ago. But you paid for it. You went to prison.
Yeah. I don't want to go back again. I still wake up scared in the night. Scared that I'm back in cell block 14. Look, I'm going to clear out of here till I get the real killer.
You can't.
I have to.
If the cops come and you've run away, then they'll be sure you did it.
But if I stay, do you want me to go to jail?
I want you to be a man. You're my husband. I love you. I want to be proud of you. But I can't this way. Stop being so afraid of everything.
Louise, you don't understand what they...
Who is it?
It's me, Eddie. My model got out of control today. I took her way up as high as it would go. And then zoom, it dive bombed and hit me right here. The doctor says I could have bleeded till I died. And look what happened to my model. I put a new prop on, but I don't know how to solder those wires. So if Mr. Stone...
Well, not now, Eddie. He's taking a bath.
Now?
Well,
Gosh, why can't you eat when you're dirty? You know, my mom always makes me wash my hands.
Well, you come back a little later, Eddie. I'll tell him what you need.
Okay.
Well, maybe you're right. Maybe I don't have to run away, but we've got to fix the car. Bernie Shaw has a paint shop down near the factory. He can make the Ford a different color.
Won't the police know?
Why? All it says in the registration is Ford Sedan, 1950. But we've got to get rid of this. I know. I can take it down and throw it off the pier. We've got to get rid of it. Oh, wait a minute. I must be crazy. That's all I'd need.
Now what's the matter?
But suppose there's a cop in the pier. Suppose he sees me trying to throw this in the ocean. He grabs it, sees it's a Colt 45. He wouldn't even bother with a trial.
Mr. Stone through with his bath yet?
Eddie.
Oh, let him in.
Come on in, Eddie. He'll help you now.
Hi, Mr. Stone.
Hi, Eddie.
Mr. Stone, you look funny. You shaved your mustache
Well, I
off.
got tired of it. Say, you want to get this thing fixed?
Yeah, would you solder those control wires for me?
Sure, I will. If you'll do me a favor,
Sure.
you take this down to the pier and throw it in the ocean.
What is it?
It's some acid. I don't dare throw it in the sink. It might ruin the pipes.
Is it okay if I throw it in the garbage can?
No, don't do that. You know, some other kids might come along and find it.
Yeah, they would know about acid.
Yeah, they might get hurt real bad. You take that down, throw it in the ocean as far around as you can. And when you get back, your plane will be all fixed.
Okay.
That's all I remember, Mr. Matthews. Does it help?
Well, at least it explains a lot of the circumstantial evidence. Now, Martha, as I remember, young Kennedy testified that when he got outside, he looked in the package and saw a gun.
A gun like a .45 Colt the DA showed him in court.
Uh-huh. And where does Eddie live?
Next door.
Well, let's drop over and see him.
Well, he's not home. He had another accident. Nothing serious, and his mother shipped him off to his aunt for a few days.
Well, in that case, we'll have to wait until he gets back. We'll be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Pete
Peter Stone was a man ruled by fear, an emotion that eats away a man's reason. But that wasn't evidence. I told Stone how tough the situation was.
It's okay, Mr. Matthews. I know you can't do anything. Maybe for somebody else, but not for me.
I didn't say that.
You don't have to. I'm Peter Stone.
The fault, dear Brutus, is in ourselves, not in our stars. Ever hear that? Well, Shakespeare wrote that over 300 years ago, but it applies to you. You were under suspicion because of all the things you did.
Yeah, I know. I do everything wrong.
You know, I can understand almost everything except what you were doing with a gun, a Colt 45.
Oh, I got it for Louise. Well, there'd been a lot of trouble in our neighborhood. Guys came to the door, said it was a gas man or a telegram, anything to get in. Of course, if the husband was there, they said it was a mistake. So I got this gun for Louise and showed her how to point it. Now, the way things break for me, it would have to be a 45 Colt. You don't believe me, do you?
Yes, I do. But before we go any further, let me ask you something. Do you want me to appeal this verdict?
I don't understand.
There's a gamble involved.
What kind?
You're alive now. If another jury finds you guilty, it could mean the gas chamber.
I guess it would. I'm Peter Stone. Do I have to decide now?
No. Think it over.
I guess wrong. I always do.
Stone, you're not the only one who has had bad breaks.
I know, but you've had some good ones, too.
Mr. Stone, you've had one good break.
Me?
A girl named Louise married you.
She shouldn't have. Somebody upstairs made a mistake.
You believe in somebody upstairs?
I used to.
Till when?
Until this thing happened. Do you expect me to believe in a God who puts innocent men in jail for life?
No. Just don't lose faith. Do you remember the 23rd Psalm?
Yeah, I think so.
It would be good medicine for someone who feels the way you do. Try it.
23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. About that appeal, Mr. Matthews, you go ahead and appeal the verdict. I'll take my chances. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
Now we had to find a basis for appeal. The next step was to interview Gladys Taylor, the 14-year-old schoolgirl who had made the eyewitness identification. Do you remember the day you saw a man in a car talking to Mr. Crawford? You never saw that man before, did you?
No.
And that day you saw him for maybe a minute or two. But 5 days later, when Mr. Stone was arrested, you positively identified him. How could you be so sure?
I just was.
Do you remember everything that well?
No, but this was important.
Why?
Because he killed Mr. Crawford.
But you didn't know he was going to.
No.
What happened that made you study his face so carefully that 5 days later you could positively identify him?
I just did, that's all. Why are you asking me all these things? They've already found him guilty.
We're appealing the case, Gladys.
You mean there's going to be another trial? Will they put my picture in the paper again?
They might.
They did last time.
That's important to you, isn't it, Gladys? Is it as important as sending a man to prison for his whole life? Listen to me, Gladys. Peter Stone is in prison tonight, and one of the reasons is that you said you saw him giving Mr. Crawford a lift. I want you to stop and think before you answer this question. Are you positive the man in the car was Peter Stone?
I thought he was.
You thought he was. This was one break, but it wasn't enough. At midnight, Martha and I were still trying to find a new angle.
But you're sorry you ever got mixed up with this office?
sorry. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the lesson.
What lesson?
How to cross-examine a witness. No jury will believe that Taylor girl when you get through questioning her.
Yeah, that's not enough. There's still so much that we have to prove.
The worst, of course, was having that car painted so soon after the murder.
What's the name of that paint shop?
Shore, Bernard Shore, over in Lincoln Boulevard.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll stop by there the first thing in the morning.
Hi.
Hi. I'm Bart Matthews, Public Defender's Office. Peter Stone's new lawyer.
You got a tougher job than me.
Well, since you're a friend of his, I wonder if...
Oh, Nellie. Say, you better go back and touch second base. That creep's no friend of mine.
You testified that you went bowling with him every Monday night.
Say, listen, when a guy tries to tie me in with a murder he committed, I write him off my book.
He says he's innocent.
Well, if you can find an honest bookmaker, you can get 100 to 1 on that.
What makes you so sure?
Well, why shouldn't I be? When a guy comes into me the way he did, well, I've got to protect myself, don't I? Good morning. Can I help you? Hey, P, what happened to the spinach? Oh.
Shade it off.
Hey, there's something else different, too. You haven't got the cheaters on. You're going to be throwing all those balls in the gutter.
Say, listen, Blub, I'd like to get the car painted.
But, Pete, it don't need it.
Well, I'm just tired of the gray.
You're no off the street, Oscar. And, Pete, I can level with you. I can't do this good a job.
Oh, I don't care. I'm just tired of the color.
All right, but it'll cost you.
I'll pay, don't worry. How quick can you get it?
What color do you want?
Oh, any color. You pick it. Just so long as it isn't gray. Look, Blub, if anybody asks, say you did the job last month.
What's up, Doc?
Well, nothing. Just say you did it last month, okay?
Sure.
Thanks.
There you are, and I'll leave it to you.
Tell me, were there any blood stains in the car?
I didn't see any. Why?
If he shot Crawford, there would have been.
Well, unless he made Crawford get out first. I'm sorry, Doc. I hate to see anybody swing. But it's none of my business.
Thanks. The further our investigation went, the worse things looked. Martha and I studied the transcript of Stone's trial again and again. Then I had a call that Peter Stone's wife was outside with young Eddie Kennedy. What did we say to Mrs. Stone? Oh, that's right, Eddie. You sit down, too. Hey, what happened to your arm?
I fell out of the tree again.
Oh, that's too bad. You know, Eddie, do you remember that package Mr. Stone gave you that night?
Sure. I'm sorry, but I had to tell the judge and everybody about the gun. I didn't want to get Mr. Stone in trouble.
Oh, of course you didn't. And don't you worry, Eddie. We all want you to tell the truth.
Okay.
Now, I've been reading everything that you said at that trial. And you know that they all forgot to ask you one question?
What?
Well, Eddie, if I were a boy 10 years old and someone gave me a package to throw off the pier, I think I would have done just what you did. I would have taken a look, too.
But Mr. Stone didn't say not to look.
Well, you're right. And if I were a 10-year-old boy and I opened up that package and found a gun, I think I would have kept it and hid it someplace real good.
I'll get him.
Who?
You know who. Porky. He's the only one I showed it to.
You mean I'm right, Eddie? You didn't throw that gun off the pier?
I'll fix him.
Eddie, where is the gun?
Eddie, why didn't you tell me? That gun might get Mr. Stone out of jail.
How?
Well, if we can prove that it didn't fire the bullet that killed Mr. Crawford, we'll be able to free Mr. Stone.
Can they do that?
Every gun leaves different markings on bullets. Now, please, Eddie, what did you do with the gun that Mr. Stone gave to you?
My mother took it away from me.
And is your mother home now?
She was at home when I picked Eddie up.
Come on, Eddie, let's all go out and see your mother, huh?
Okay. Hi, Mom.
Where have you been now? Can't I take my eyes off of you for 1 minute? If you're not getting hit with that plane or falling off the fence and breaking your arm, you're disappearing. Oh, Edward, I swear you'll be the death of me yet.
I went with Mrs. Stone.
Alex, he was supposed to tell you we went to see Pete's lawyer.
Well, he didn't, Louise.
Now, Mrs. Kennedy, your son says that you took a gun from him.
I certainly did. If this boy doesn't put me in an early grave.
Can I have it, please?
What for?
We need it badly, very badly.
I'm sorry, but I can't help you.
But Mrs. Kennedy...
Please, Alice. That gun caused Eddie enough trouble. Missing school, policemen with him every minute, his pictures in the paper, crazy phone calls in the middle of the night.
I know how you feel, but...
That was bad enough. Then one day, I come home from shopping, and I look out here. How I ever got through that day, I'll never know. Here stands Eddie with a gun.
It must have been a terrible shock. But can I have it, please?
Well, it's gone. The minute I got my hands on it, I ran straight to the pier and threw it in the ocean.
I'm afraid we're licked. That was the last possible piece of new evidence.
Isn't there anything you can do?
We'll keep on trying, that's all I can say.
I'm sorry, Louise.
I know.
Just, I nearly went out of my mind when I saw Eddie shooting that gun.
He shot that gun where?
Out here.
How many shots did you fire, Eddie?
One, just one.
And where did the bullet go?
Out there someplace.
And what's in back of that fence?
Open fields.
Would you mind if I bring a policeman out here?
Please, Alice.
It's important.
Well, all right.
Thank you. Can I use your telephone?
Come in.
I called a friend of mine, Detective Frank Leonard, police firearms expert, and asked him to get out to the Kennedy backyard as soon as possible. He was there in 20 minutes.
Eddie, I want you to take this gun.
Are you sure it's all right?
Yes, perfectly all right, ma'am.
But this isn't the same kind.
I know. I want you to stand where you were when you fired that other gun. And aim it the way you aimed the other one.
Okay. I was standing right here, and Porky dared me to shoot. So, I aimed like this, then I did like this, then boom! It almost knocked me off my feet.
What do you think? There's an open field out there. How far would a .45 slug travel?
Well, that varies. Depends on the angle of fire. We could get a mine detector and go over that area foot by foot, inch by inch.
Sounds like a lot of work, but it might be worth it. Think we possibly could have missed it out there?
No, this mine detector doesn't miss. We got every nail and bottle cap and piece of metal and... Eddie, are you sure you were standing right over there when you fired that gun?
Yeah, the bird I shot at was right up there in that tree.
Now he tells us.
We went over that tree inch by inch, looking for this needle in a wooden haystack, not knowing if the needle was there. Until...
We ought to be able to get an answer in an hour.
And we should know very soon. Miss Fremont's over at headquarters now.
Well, so many things have happened to me so far. Maybe they'll make a mistake with the bullets.
So you're the original tough luck kid, huh?
But, Mr. Matthews...
Now, never mind. Let me tell you something. You haven't had any tough breaks that you didn't make yourself. Now, look, Stone, you got a lot to be thankful for, but you won't have, even if you get out of here, unless you change.
How?
You've got to face facts. The world isn't against you, and the only one who can determine your future is a guy named Peter Stone.
Mr. Matthews, the bullets didn't match. We won.
You see what a little faith can do? On presentation of the new evidence, a new trial was granted. The defendant was found not guilty. 2 months later, a hold-up man was arrested. His gun proved to be the one used in the Crawford murder. The case you have just seen was brought to a fair and just conclusion through the efforts of a public defender. Tonight, Philip Morris salutes Public Defender James D. Cosgrove, Hartford County, Hartford, Connecticut, and his staff for outstanding achievement in the cause of justice.